divers and scuba divers out there, welcome to the Scuba Diver Magazine channel, your favourite place for the latest scuba diving news and gear reviews. Communication is essential in all walks of life for positive outcomes. When communications fail, relationships fall apart, and the same applies for scuba diving. You'll learn the basic fundamental hand signals during your introductory course, or you should do, but sometimes it can be quite hard to understand what like the little cartoon diver is doing in the manual, or maybe you've just watched a scuba diving movie and you're trying to work out what they were just trying to say underwater, or maybe you just want to brush up on your hand signals before you're heading back into the water after a long period off. Scuba.com is your one-stop shop for everything underwater. Whether you're a seasoned scuba diving pro or just starting to explore the wonders of the deep, Scuba.com has everything that you need. Browse their extensive selection of scuba and snorkeling equipment from leading brands, find masks, fins, BCDs, wetsuits and regulators and everything else that you need for a comfortable and safe dive. Scuba.com's team consists of highly trained and experienced professionals who have dived all over the world. Get personalized recommendations for the perfect gear, no matter your diving destination or style. Ready to take the plunge? Scuba.com offers scuba diving classes from all levels, from beginner open water diver certification to advanced technical diving courses. If you're looking for the ultimate underwater adventure, Scuba.com curates diving trips around the globe to exotic destinations. Dive into a world of possibilities with Scuba.com. There are several methods of communicating underwater. The most fundamental is your hand signals, which relies on line of sight, a decent amount of lighting to be able to see the hand signal, your buddy actually understanding and comprehending your hand signal, and that your buddy is, actually looking at you. You can communicate with an underwater light as well. Light signals are fairly limited in comparison to hand signals. They have a very good range compared to it to get your buddy's attention from over there, but once you have your attention, there's only so many things that you can actually do with a torch beam to communicate. At night though, you can just use your torch to shine on your hands so that your buddy can better see it. Touch signals tend to be limited to zero-vis scenarios along a guideline, where literally if you put your hand signal up to the glass of your buddy's mask, they're still not going to be able to see the hand signal, so you have to communicate with touch signals. So cave divers have a special touch language. Rope and line communications, also used in overhead environments like ice or in commercial environments where you want direct contact with the surface, and you can actually talk with sort of pulls and bells of that rope. It takes a little bit of a while to learn it all, but actually it's a pretty quick and efficient way of communicating between two people, or at least a diver in the water and someone on the surface. And if you really want to get fancy, we have through water communications and wired comms as well. Through water is a bit like radios, can be a bit patchy in certain environments and at certain ranges. Hard wires, of course you need a wire tether, so that's only sort of limited. But for those kind of communications, you need underwater microphones and speakers and things, usually a full face mask as well, especially if you want to talk underwater. But yeah, that's an option that's out there, but it's a bit more pricey than just throwing up some hand signals. So it's hard to categorize most hand signals, so I'm just going to run through some of the more common signals and try to explain each of them. So OK is the most fundamental hand signal that we use as scuba divers. You'll see it on merchandise, you'll see it on pretty much every photograph of a diver on a dive trip, whether they're underwater or not, you'll see a lot of OK signs. It's a question and an answer. So if a diver looks at you and then throws up the OK sign, they're asking if you're okay. Give yourself a quick rundown, make sure that everything's okay, and then you give them the okay back. Some divers actually just show the okay as a reflex as soon as they see it. They don't do that internal, actually, is everything okay? Even though something might not be okay. Some buddies have come up with a system where you'll ask okay and then show a number, and then your buddy must say okay and then plus a certain number or whatever it is, just to prove that they're paying attention and not just parroting. Stop is quite straightforward. If you want someone to stay where they are, you stop. I've used this a few times when, like, I see another diver is caught and they're like dragging a rope, it's caught up in their cylinder valve. Just say, hey, stop, just wait a minute, and you can fix it. They don't know that they're dragging a rope behind them, but you can see them. You can just tell them to stop and then fix it for them. A lot of hand signals are quite straightforward. Just so look at me, slow down if things are going a bit too fast. I'm cold, come here, go away. Time and distance can be quite handy to know as well. If you need to swim for a certain amount of distance or a certain amount of time, then you can say like distance followed by a number, which is usually like meters or feet or even like 20 fin kicks, something like that. It's usually something that you and your buddy are quite used to. You have that conversation beforehand, and yet you can just say, oh, you know, it's going to take about 20 minutes to swim that distance. If you're unsure of anything, you can ask a question. It's often ignored. You kind of skip over it. Most divers just ask the question, but if you ever see like a hooked finger, it kind of means that you want to ask a question and you want to just catch their like attention first, because otherwise if you're just I don't really know the actual hand signal, they'll kind of look and they'll move on. Whereas if you say, oh, just I want to ask a question, and then you can have a bit of a moment to like compose yourself. If you've missed something, you can say again, which is like a pecking bird. If someone's like signing language so quick, then you can just say, oh, just stop. Can you just say that again? Or if you want someone to do something again, you just say again. It's that kind of pecking bird. Underwater, we use this to say there's something wrong, and then hopefully point to what's wrong. As an instructor, I used to see a lot of this, and then it's like, well, what's wrong? You got to give me a bit more. If you can't equalize, you say there's something wrong and point to your ears. If there's something wrong with your stomach, something wrong, I'm cold, something wrong, and give them an idea of what's wrong. Your thumb underwater is a pointing device. If you want to ascend, you show your buddy the thumbs up. Descend obviously is thumbs down. If you want to go this way or go that way, then you should really point with, you know, your thumb this or that way. You can use your other hand as a reference to something like a wall. If you want to stick close to the wall because there's like boats around or there's a lot of current, current is just punching your hand. The current will be a lot less if you stay closer to the wall or even closer to the bottom. And of course, boats won't venture too close to walls so that they don't run aground. So if you want to stay away from boats and just get your buddy to just, you know, stay close to the wall or stay close to the bottom. If you can't ascend above a certain depth, then you can ascend to a ceiling. A flat hand waving kind of flat in the water, kind of flat hands in general, just means like a level or a specific depth. If someone like looks at you and they kind of give you that kind of signal, it means to level off or stay at this current depth, usually for a stop. If you're doing like a safety stop or something, then you say, yeah, look, once you get to that depth, okay, let's just level off here. The usual hand signal for safety stop is this. There are two parts to that, and that are 3 minutes at 5 meters. That's kind of why it's that signal. Your little finger. If you have a deco stop on your computer or your dive plan, then you tell your buddy that you have a deco stop and typically how long in minutes and maybe like a ceiling depth. Pinky and thumb is kind of very cool when you shake it from side to side. If you see something awesome like a whale shark, you'll probably see thumb pinky. If it's pinching, which is quite hard to do, that means double ender. If someone needs to borrow and never return a double ender, they'll ask for one like this. If they've dropped theirs and they need something to attach, then they'll ask for a double ender. Now, there are a few ways of saying numbers underwater. Personally, I prefer the one-handed method. 1 through 5 have your fingers pointed upwards with your palm facing your buddy. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. 6 through 9, you turn your hands sideways, and then with the back of your hands to your buddy, you have 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 0, instead of having your thumb up, which could be confused for thumbs up, is just an OK sign, but without the flare. It's just a sort of an O, like you're holding a javelin. I find that to be the most clear and quite easy to say long numbers, but you may come across some other signals regarding numbers, such as a closed fist for 50 and a T shape for 100, but these can be confused with like a closed fist for danger. Closed fist means danger, and what looks a bit like safety stop. Obviously, context matters. If someone asks for their air pressure, they're not going to randomly say safety stop, but clarity is important with all communications. Things, items, just things are important to talk about underwater, usually when you want to know where something is. So like buddy is bumping 2 fingers together. You can point to 2 divers and buddy them up. That's usually when it comes to the end of the dive. If you've got a buddy pair that has one diver who has plenty of gas left, the other one is running a bit dry, instead of ruining or ending the dive early for that buddy, you can actually say, oh, actually, you and you have quite little gas left. You two can surface, but then you two need to buddy up. Or you can ask where your buddy is, sort of where is your buddy. They can also be used for follow. If I want you to follow me, you can use these kind of hand signals. You follow me and that kind of stuff. Just kind of pay attention to who's who and do it nice and slow. So you and you buddy up. Boat can be quite handy. You're just making a V shape with your hands. It's a rudimentary boat shape. Bubbles. If you see bubbles coming from someone's equipment, it can be a nice warning. It is just a pinch kind of pointed upwards. So you can kind of say, oh, hey, you've got bubbles coming from like your regulator or something, just so that they can be aware that there is some kind of a leak that they need to pay attention to or like fix before the next dive. Don't confuse it for DSMB deployment, which is a bit more like throwing up a ball. You typically only do it like once. If you're about to deploy a DSMB, tell your buddy, hey, I'm going to send up a DSMB, and then they can like watch and let you know if anything's going wrong. If there's like a section of line that's wrapping around your gauges or something, then someone's watching, so you can just say, hey, I'm sending up a DSMB. Line, if there's like a rope or string in the water, crossed fingers isn't a sign for good luck. It's referencing a line of some sort to either be careful about or just to refer to it. If you're using a reel or a spool, use that same crossed fingers, just moving in a circle like you're winding in a reel. And if you're entangled in something or stuck in some way, then it's those crossed fingers in a figure of 8 to ask for help, because it may not be immediately obvious, especially if it's like fishing line, because that's usually invisible in the water. Just get your buddy's attention, just say, hey, I'm entangled in something, and they can come and help you out. If there's something dangerous, then a closed fist means danger, and typically you point that closed fist to what is dangerous, something like fishing net or something with pointy teeth that looks particularly angry, closed fist and point at it. If somebody wants to know how much gas you have in the tank, they'll tap 1 or 2 fingers on the palm of their hand facing you. It's supposed to look like a pressure gauge, which it kind of does, and you just reply with those numbers. One important one is if you've run out of gas. That's a big and obvious hand across your neck, like you're dead to me. Just make it really big and obvious. It's not like in training where you're like, oh, I've run out of gas, but I actually haven't, I'm just pretending. When you've actually run out of gas, I am out of gas, so it's really obvious and your buddy knows what to do. If you check your gauges and you're getting low on gas, we have a low on gas signal. A closed fist tapping your chest tells your buddy that you're not out of air. You just need to start ascending before you venture into your reserve gas pressure. If you see the low on gas signal, just stick close to your buddy and be ready to share gas if it's like an equipment failure that's causing them to be low on gas. But yeah, a closed fist tapping on your chest means that you're running low on gas. You still have gas, you still have enough to get back to the surface and everything, but they're getting close to their reserves. Switch is the signal for changing from what you're breathing from. You only typically see it when you're diving more than one gas mix or a bailout cylinder for a rebreather, but divers have come up to me when I'm just diving singles and asked me to switch because they wanted to try out my second stage because it was an unusual second stage, and asked me to switch, which kind of threw me for a second, but eventually the message came across. But yeah, 2 fingers kind of twisting is switching what you're breathing from, or they're going to be switching what they're breathing from. Pay attention, make sure they're switching to the right, correct gas mix. We use larger signals on the surface so that they can be seen from a greater distance, either from a boat or from another diver or somebody on the shore. They're never going to see like that. You want big, obvious signals. When you're on the surface, boats are typically quite nervous about you when you first surface and like what condition everybody's in, especially if you surfaced unexpectedly. So when you do surface, give them a nice big okay with either 2 hands or just 1 hand, just to make it really big and obvious that, yep, I'm okay. And if you want to be picked up, then you just stick 1 hand straight up in the air. That just tells them, please come and collect me, to be asked to be picked up. But you don't wave that around or like wave to your friends that you can see. Waving of any sorts is the universal sign for emergency, and people are going to come running. So yeah, any kind of waving, limit that to, you know, when you need immediate help. If you're underwater and you can't remember the exact hand signal, then just do your best to ad-lib. If you've ever seen an Italian talking, then you'll know just how much we use our hands to talk naturally, so you'll be surprised what you can actually communicate without talking. If you're heading to like the wheelhouse of a shipwreck, you might see something like this, or if you see something like this, then your buddy probably has like vertigo or narcosis, they're feeling a bit dizzy. All these kind of hand signals you kind of instinctively know, but when you're actually underwater, they do have that kind of meaning still. The key here is to be as clear as possible and to take your time. Hold each signal for a couple of seconds and consider what your buddy can actually see. If it's already dark and murky in the water and you're wearing black gloves and you're holding that sign against your black wetsuit, your buddy's not going to be able to see that sign properly. So consider holding it out to one side or shining a torch on it for better contrast. Try to be aware of what your buddy might be able to see or not see. There will also be regional variations around the world. Don't be surprised if you were taught different hand signals wherever you're from, or if you come across different hand signals to the ones that I've just done when you're diving abroad. That's why it's essential to have a review of the basic signals with your buddy before the dive, and if it comes to it, a slate and like wet notes or something can literally spell something out. It's better to spend a minute writing something down to confirm a message than to assume something and then end up separating or lost. If you found this useful, then let me know down in the comments below, and let me know if you want me to break down any other forms of communication systems like rope signals or night diving with a torch. Let me know down in the comments below and I'll get to it as soon as I can. Remember to check out today's sponsor scuba.com for your next equipment purchase. They have monthly specials, so it's always worth checking back every now and then. I'll pop a link up here in the corner and down in the description below. And of course, head over to our website, scubadivingmag.com. Check out our global diving magazine. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't done so here on YouTube. Thank you for watching, everybody, and of course, safe diving.